Hi everyone, I'm Melanie Eke.
And I'm Kolbi-Rae Edney.
And you're watching NCRF TV's newest show, Life Lessons, and we are here to help you do life.
We have some amazing guests here. We first have our two NCRF celebrity ambassadors, Crystal and Morgan Westbrooks. And we also have actress, videographer, and dancer Kyra Rahn with us today.
Ooh, and we are going to be talking becoming a woman. Woo-hoo. Everybody ready? Yes, you're right.
Buckle
it's
up.
The ultimate girl talk episode. Guys, you may want to tune in. You might learn something. But
You'll learn a lot. Let's say that.
It's for the ladies. So let's kick this off. Morgan, we have a question for you.
All right.
Let's talk first about our evolving identity as a woman, right? So at what point did you realize, oh, I'm not a girl anymore? Like, I'm a woman. I'm a full-blown woman.
Okay. When did I realize I'm a full-blown woman?
Oh, well, woman.
All right.
With a capital W.
Well, I would like to break it down.
Okay.
I think that when I got my period,
That's the technical, but yes.
Okay, I'm not a girl anymore. I'm moving up. And then I think once I lost my virginity, and then I started getting bills. I said,
It's the bills.
Even when I lost my virginity, I was like, oh, okay. But then once you get slapped with bills, like you on your own, you got a mortgage, and you got like, oh, I'm full grown money now. Like I'm. This is it.
Right.
This is it right here. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's no going back.
Right.
There is no going back. So I think it was more like it's when we're a girl, it's really like steps to me. It's like, oh shoot, period is here. What is this? This is new. And then it's like, oh shoot, I'm having sex now. Then it's like I'm in the world on my own. Or even if I'm not on my own, it's like I have bills. I got a life that I have to pay for every day.
Right.
So I think that's when it really hit.
But you start to have to pay for your own maintenance.
Well,
That's
yeah.
a bill.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole bill.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bills, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, when you have you have bills and you have life and you really have to do life. Just kind of talk about, and Crystal and Kyra as well, talk about like, how do you identify as a woman? Like what type of woman would you say you are?
That's such a good question. Right now, I feel like it's always changing, right? And I feel like that's also part of the becoming a woman is accepting that it's always changing, right? And I think like I struggled for a really long time, especially in young adulthood, like not feeling like I was being consistent, right? But it's like a different consistency, right? And it's like learning to accept that, for the week, right before my period, I'm emotional, right? And the week after, I'm hyper productive, and that's just like how it's gonna be. And like the day to day is gonna be different, and that's okay. And I think like recognizing that, observing that, and owning it like was such a huge part of that. But like in that career kind of moment where it's like, okay, like we need to be on the grind, like we talked right about like the boss girl versus soft girl. Like I think right now I'm like trying to be the boss girl, right? And that is not being the boss girl, it's trying to be, right? So I don't know, I think it's just it's always learning, it's always changing, it's accepting that like two truths can exist at once, right? And like that there has to be a balance, and there will be a balance. I don't know, I think I'm a big believer in like
Balance.
and that we can be many things.
Yes.
Right.
I have a question. Just made me think for all of you. Would you be okay not being a boss girl? Like, I think some women, I think I would personally, like, I'm like, I joke all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't want to work. I just want money to appear in my account. But like, if that was actually your situation, like, do you think that you would be able to do that? Or do you like having your own thing to like work and grind for?
I'll speak on that. I think that I wouldn't be okay. I think for me, because of the way I was raised up under my father, I've always been a hustler. So I've always got my own money, and I've never relied on a man or anybody else. So for me, I feel like I always have to go get it. You know what I'm saying? Working is, to me, I feel like it's just part of who I am. I mean, the less the load, that would be great. You know, too much. But I need to be productive of having my own. Like, I'm that hustling boss girl for sure. But that's just how I was like from day one. So some people might have had the opposite, where they like, I just been chilling all my life. It's been handed to me. So that's a little different. But me in that hustling boss girl era, like I want, as she says, change as I get older. I want to kind of get out of that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be in me, but now I want to get into the soft girl era. But that's like the hardest thing nowadays because like us women, I feel like we're hustling harder than the guys nowadays. We want it more than they do, and that's like their role is to be able to provide and get it and take care. I feel like nowadays it's the ladies really doing it.
Yeah,
like we really the plugs nowadays. Like we really the ones like you really want to make some money. You come to a woman. We'll show you how to flip it. We'll show you how to multiply it. We'll show you multiple ways of how to do it. And the guys are like, yeah, you know,
it's true. It's true.
They're more laid back, and I think we're more hungry.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, that's where I feel like the soft girl era is like hard to get into because we're so in that mode of like we got to get it, and if you have kids, it's worse. You got to really get it.
That's what I was going to ask you about because you're also a mom,
right?
You know, on top of that, so like, do you feel like you have no choice but to be a boss girl?
Oh yeah, once you have a kid, like that's my responsibility right there. So actually, you kind of go into like overdrive. Of being a hustler and being a boss because now you got somebody else to take care of, but then you want to give them more than you had. So it's one of those like, dang, when do I really get into my soft girl era?
Yeah.
Because it's like you got to be on it, you know. But it's a cool thing to me. But I feel like I have to have my own. Like I have to work and get it. That's how I feel. Even if somebody was like, here it goes $1 million, I'm still gonna go out and get a business and still run it. You know what I'm saying? So
and make it more $1 million.
I can't just sit back though. But that's me.
Well, and so does everybody agree? Because I'm kind of like that, or is that just me? Because sometimes I feel like since I'm like that as well, that I just assume that all women are like that. But I do have friends that are like, I would be totally fine with just sitting at home, taking care of my kids, and living my best life. Is anybody that girl here? Crystal, we don't want
I'm not a hustler. Don't like hustling. Never have. I work though. Yeah. I've never been a boss girl.
And that's fine. But I think that's what
fine.
it is.
Everybody's different.
Well, the most important thing is having the right to be able to choose what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, do you feel like society is keeping up with how we identify ourselves as women, or do you feel pressure to fit in a box this way or fit in a box that way or be a certain thing?
No pressure.
No pressure?
For me.
All right.
I'm such an admirer of your energy.
No, really, right?
I just struggle too, right? Like, I think, like, in that, like, growing into who you are, it's, like, just being with who you are, and I think you're just such a master at that. I just met you today, but
she really owns
no,
her.
really.
Like, this is me.
She, like, sits in it. She's like, this is me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing no more, no less. This is me. I love it.
Thanks, guys.
But that is very, because I also have friends that are like, oh, like, I would sit at home and, like, just take care of my kids or, like, cook and clean, take care of my man. And I'm like, that's cute. I love that for you. Like, I wish that I wasn't like Morgan, I respect you a lot because I don't think I can be like you. I don't think I could be that much. I feel like I'm a boss girl, but I think just as I've gotten older, I'm like, ooh, this is tiring. I'm like,
well, she says she's waiting for her soft girl era.
Right,
she says she's ready. She's ready. She's ready.
No, right. Like,
but it's at a point now, like how you see the generation and how the world is moving. It's like, are we ever going to be able to like chill out?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
like,
it's
I think I have to
changing.
provide myself my soft girl era. So I have to be a boss girl in order to provide myself soft girl era. Like,
there it is.
Like, I think that's the new, like, wave. It's like, I'm going to work really hard so I can at least give myself a couple minutes to break and be soft and treat myself.
There it is.
Right.
So that's very interesting, honestly.
Yeah. Kyra, do you ever feel pressure from society to be a certain way and you feel like you're just not keeping up with the expectations?
Yeah, I would say, I think, so I grew up a dancer, and it was amazing. Like, I loved that life. Like, it was competitive, but like a community, it was just amazing. But I think what I'm really grateful for is, you know, from an early age, like, I became really just connected to my, like, femininity in that way, you know? But a big part of the dance community is like just that kind of fitness and the expectation to be really liftable, really flingable, really just, you know, teeny tiny petite.
And like everything's gonna look better if you look this certain way. And
yes. And I've always had a very like athletic build. Like I've kind of like tried to convince myself that I'm like the little twig petite thing, you know? But I remember I think I was in 4th grade, like young, like 4th or 5th, and I was getting my hair cut by like our family friend, our hairdresser, and she made a comment on my body, and I was so taken aback, but she goes, it was a compliment. She goes, well, Kyra, you've already got such beautiful curves, you know? And it took me years, like years to accept that as a compliment, because I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, I don't have curves. Like, I'm a dancer. I'm tiny. I'm, you know, whatever. And, but now, I mean, it's a different, you know, kind of game, right? I mean, that's part of what it is to be feminine, right? It's just the shape of it all. And you know,
I think that's really funny because it gets lost. Because actually, my mom always told me, because I also grew up a dancer, and like, I was always curvy as a child. A literal child. Into now. So, my mom used to like show me pictures of like literally like Revolutionary War like women that were like curvy, and she was like they always say that like curvy women are really appreciated because that means they're like well fed and they keep their home and like all these things. Like she always tried to show me like the benefits of like having curves and like what it used to mean in society. So I like, because she knew I was in dance, and like I wanted to be like a skinny girl with like tiny thighs and like really pretty lines and all those things. But it's crazy because it's like our perception of like our bodies as women, like obviously the trends change, so like it depends on like.
Well, that was the point I was gonna make, is that, you know, it eventually it became acceptable to have curves, right? And so it's like, how do you, when it comes to something like your body, how do you just kind of keep up when it's okay to be curvy now because it's in trend, but now it's not okay. Right. Now you have to be skinny, but this is our body we're talking about. We can't just fluctuate based on the trends.
As women, like our bodies fluctuate like literally in our 30-day cycle. Like I have a different body every 10 days. I swear, my pants fit different every 10 days.
Who are you telling?
Like it's like so funny that like we have like a trend. It's like trends. It's
right.
Like in the early 2000s, if you were rocking them low-rise jeans, then
guys really have no idea how hard it is to be a woman. They have no idea.
Talk about it.
They just go and brush their teeth and get a haircut and throw anything on. The maintenance for us.
Oh, let's talk about the money that it costs. Yeah. Just between the hair and the makeup and the everything.
Yeah. Outfit, the jewelry, whatever we need. Just even the basics. Like, let's say a guy get basics, and then a girl, we're like tripling whatever they have to spend.
No, really.
Literally, I just need a t-shirt and a haircut. Okay, well, I weave. You know, nails, feet, pedicure. Yes.
I told my guy how much it costs.
No, literally.
And he was like, you spend that amount on your nails every 3 weeks? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You like it, don't you?
Right.
Y'all like it, right? Okay.
Right. I feel like I'm like buying furniture right now. I'm like, why is this as much as my braids? I'm like, why is this furniture piece like cost as much as my hair? That's so. I'm like, that's just so funny to put things in perspective. Like, especially in this period of time, like a very transitional period of time for like some people, but like me, that's the thing I'm having is like I'm equating everything to like how much my furniture costs and how much my rent is. I'm like, that's half a month's rent that I'm spending on my maintenance. Like, that's crazy. It's so funny. But like, what was like easy and or hard period for you guys, like transition wise, like as a woman, whether it was like your body was transitioning and you were like, what's happening to me, or you were like, oh, like literally my hair changed from that age of 18 to 21, like just like any transition that you had, like was it hard? Like how was that for you, like as just like in your journey to becoming a woman? Like what was like a maybe hard or like a really easy period of time where you're like, I am the woman, or you're like, I don't know about this being a woman thing.
Oh, I can speak on it. It was when I had a kid. And everything changes. I was never lactose. Now I'm lactose.
Oh, wow.
Like that. Like, I can't drink milk anymore? What? Like, your body completely goes through a whole, like, wait a minute. My whole life I ate cereal. Now I can't eat cereal.
Wow.
Like, I don't understand. That was hard. And then it's getting your body back from gaining, like 40 pounds after having a kid and trying to get back to like, hold on, I was cute before I had this baby. You know,
Right.
it was that transition. Like you said, you can't just change your body like overnight. So it's really looking at yourself and identifying like, dang, you're a mom now, but it's like, I don't know who I am in the mirror. Then your moods change. A lot of that changes, like everything. Things I used to like, I don't like anymore. Things that I like now, like it's just a lot. It was a big transition. But at the end of the day, like now I know I have like a bigger respect for women. Once you have a kid and you really know, like you really push your kid out, it's like you could have easily died on that table. You really brought a whole new life in, and then now you're responsible for somebody else. So like I have a whole different respect for women, period, after I had, you know, a baby. But from there, it was like, that was very, very hard. Some people, it was a piece of cake. They push them out and they're on their way. And some people, was like, whoa, like I've known life this way for so long. And then this 1 year transition was like one of the hardest. It was one of the hardest things for me. But I had my child at 32. So, you know, when you're a little older compared to like just being young, pushing them out and
Right.
keep going. Had them a little older, but I'm glad I did. And then, you know, everybody can bounce back. You know, I just had to bounce back real quick. But it was a hard time for me. But it gave me like that stamp of like, oh, woman, that's
Yeah.
I checked it all off now. That's it.
And I
Yeah.
feel like if you
Right.
thought there
Yeah.
was another stage to becoming a woman,
Man.
wait until you
Yeah,
have a
that's,
child.
That's the final stage. That's it.
I also want to recognize women who aren't able to have children are still very much so women. You know,
Yeah,
acknowledge that.
yeah.
Like we are very powerful creatures in multiple ways. Whether you have a child, you don't, like there's so many like ups and downs and like journeys of being a woman that like just make you who you are. Like Kyra, like you said you moved from Minnesota, right?
I did, yeah.
How was that like for you? Like, well, aside from like the culture shock of going from Minnesota to like California,
Right.
like I just know it's probably different because like this is a whole different type of, there's so many different types of women out here, probably different than like Minnesota, or like just seeing a whole bunch of different people, or just being in like the acting and dancing space. Like how was that for you?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So part of the other thing about like Midwestern culture versus out here is that like people in the Midwest like typically have their people from like a long time ago. Like the clique kind of culture up there is like very extreme. Like I grew up in a small town too, and that's, I mean, it's like if you're not with your kind of clique, you know, from the beginning, like good luck. And I moved around as a kid, so I had some practice like just figuring out who I was on my own, right, and how to make those friends and how to get into those circles. And so I think that was like such a great experience moving out here, right? Because so there were two things. I was kind of prepared to like do the same thing, right? Like break into the circles and get into the everything, but it's like a little bit different out here. Like everybody's from everywhere, you know, and everybody's out here just trying to make it, you know? And like I think there's some misconceptions about, you know, LA, like especially out in the Midwest, you know, like, oh, everybody's transactional and plastic. And I'm like, no, that's not it, like at all.
That's because you started meeting the natives, right? It's really the people who are
It's
from
a
LA
yeah,
that are
sure.
the cool people, right? The real cool people.
Yes. It's real. It's so real. So it's been good. I think like too, like in that, like you find the people who are looking for people, you know, because there's such a high, I think, you know, flux here. People are coming in and out all the time, that it's a lot more welcoming than I like even imagined. Like I was sitting in a coffee shop and you know, the tables were really close and I was talking to my dude, and you know, these two women were sitting right next to me, and they were having a conversation, and one of them turns over and she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I don't mean to eavesdrop, but I just think it is so cool what you're talking about. Like, I think it's so cool that you're an actor. Like, keep doing your thing. And that, like, it was just such a cool moment. I was like, that's what it's about, right? It's like lifting up people around you, and it's just, I think there's been a lot of really cool experiences like that out here.
Yeah. And like, and let's talk about support systems, you know, female to female relationships. Sometimes they're really hard to develop, especially later in life. Like, does anybody still have friendships that they have spanned 10, 20 years? Like, does anyone have those?
I think I'm only 22. So I feel like, not that it's not valid, but like I still have a lot more life to live, but I have like friends that I've had since like 8th grade, and I moved away to college.
That's totally valid.
And I like moved away to college. So like I but I feel like, ooh, sorry. Not me saying sorry to the mic. I'm sorry. And that's being a woman, saying sorry all the time for anything.
Speak.
I felt like when I was, my mom, shout out to her, because she always reminded me who I was. And she was always like, Kolbi-Rae, you are so outgoing and you are very supportive of like your sister and me, and like you're gonna take that into all your friendships. Like, do not dull your shine, do not change your heart for any person. So I was always very intentional, I feel like, with my friendships, even at a young age. So I still have girlfriends from like junior high. Well, actually, one of my best friends, we've been friends since we were 5, dance friend.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we don't talk every day. We don't, like, but I'll call her once in a while and be like, let me update you about this, and this. And, like, when I'm in town, we go to dinner. They try to come and see me. Like, so I was always very intentional, and they were just girls that I knew, like, viewed relationships the same way I did. Like, they were like, I like you. You are good to me. I'm good to you. I have your back. Like, we're gonna do this life thing. Yeah. And, like, make sure we always check in with each other, because friendships are very much a choice, and you have to, like, put effort into them. Like, and it's honestly hard. It's hard when you just, life starts. You got bills now, so you got to work. And then you have to do all these other things. And, like, it's hard, but I will say that I have some good friends, and I love them. So shout out them when they see this.
All right. Anybody else got some good long-term friends?
Yeah. Like 3. My best friend, we've been best friends for like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Talk to each other every day. And we have like 2 other girlfriends from middle school. And I have a friend from college. We always go on trips together. Her name's Diamond. She's awesome.
Shout out Diamond.
It's all my friends.
Oh, shout out the whole crew.
Yeah.
I love
the crew. I love it. It's so cute.
Yeah. I'm going to say no. I don't have any. I think my problem was it was hard to find like-minded women that aren't jealous, because you can have a friend and they like what I like, and then once you level up and you can even try to lend a hand, hey, I'm doing this. It's the jealousy factor that a lot of women have of, I don't have it like you, or I'm not this, or you got it. But I was blessed because I have 4 sisters. So I didn't need friends.
Right.
Just call my sister.
You guys are
or
a crew.
the other one. Or the other one.
Right.
And
Sisters.
if we need to go out somewhere, I take a sister. You know, if I need to talk about guy stuff, whatever it is, I have a sister. If I need somebody to pick me up on the side of the road.
Right.
You know, so I didn't really get too much into the like I just have to have a girlfriend. I need a friend. And I just had all my sisters. But I think for me, my mentality of like, I've always been a go-getter. So girls kind of like slowed me down. They were on other things that I kind of wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
But when
okay, so you were the female in the guy group. Right. That's you.
I have more guy friends.
Right.
I get along better with guys, but then there's that thin line too, because you can get along with a guy for so long, then they're like, "We're at now. You want to try to hit on me? 5 years now,
right?
We wasn't even like that. We
That's
was just
true.
cool. Now we 2 like-minded. Now you now we
See,
should be together now.
What I learned is you make other girlfriends that are that girl in the guy group, because I am also that girl.
Yep.
Because I tend to be a go-getter, and I also have a sister, and like I don't really need nobody else because that's my girl. But like it's nice, obviously. But that's like a good advice if like you feel like you're a go-getter and you're going to like be you might have girls jealous of you. Like find that other girl that's the guy's friend.
That's that girl in her circle.
Yeah.
Right.
That
like,
makes sense.
So because that's a important way of being like-minded, which I think that's like very, very beneficial in the long run, because they'll understand you for sure.
Yeah.
1,000. I also have a sister, and we moved down here together, so we were.
Cool.
We got to be like super close again. We were super close growing up, and then when I moved away to college, like you just become your own people.
Right.
Like, we're 4 years apart, and so it's been like awesome to like get to know this new.
That's cool.
Kind of this amazing person. And yeah, just good friends. I too like relate to the like just not being on the same page as some of the other kind of like whether it's trends or like ways you spend your time or you know things. And I think like a label that I've kind of felt because of that is like I feel like sometimes people can perceive you as intimidating, you know? And then all of a sudden you're like
that's the word,
up, right? Like an unintentional wall that makes you maybe like I feel like a little bit less accessible, but not like it wasn't about that. Like of course,
right.
I'm always looking. For
it's like I love all women.
Yes,
please.
You can even try to help them and even try to put them where you are, and it's still something always there, which I think is really the intimidation factor.
Yeah,
that's really probably what it is. Like,
so what do you guys think is a trait that is like present in like all healthy female friendships? Like all of us that like have like healthy female friendships, or even like with your sisters, like because that's still a friendship at the end of the day. Like what is like a healthy trait that is consistent within all those in your brain?
Maybe like caring and unselfishness.
Yeah.
They have to care about you to want to talk to you and stuff, and want to hear about your day and whatever.
and actually listen, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with loyalty. You can have a friend, but there's some wishy-washy people out there.
Yeah.
You know, you even have family sometimes that are on the same way. I'm gonna say loyalty and just understanding. Understanding goes a long way. You don't have to agree with someone, but if you understand where they're coming from, if you're understanding of the position they're in, we can work. You know, I don't have to agree with what you do, but I get it. I know why you're doing it, where you're coming from. I can work with that. Communication, just communicating, I can work with that.
That's so powerful. And it needs to be said over and over and over again, because we often assume that just because we don't agree someone is wrong.
Right.
Or like oh no, you know, you must be wrong. No, you just don't get it. But like it's possible to have different perspectives. It's okay.
Understanding is very important. I feel like with my friends, like we understand, and I think knowing your friends is making sure you know your friends is like always a good thing, because they might say something and like you might be like, oh, but like but if you know your friend, you know that you know where it's gonna, you know where it's coming from, because your friends have to be honest with you. They have to, like, you can't be going out, you can't be walking out here looking crazy, acting crazy. You need somebody to tell you, and you need to know that it's coming from love, and you need to know that you need to know your friend and know that it's not coming from a jealous or like a weird or just malintended place.
Boy, Kolbi-Rae, you must have gone to my workshop, because I have a nonprofit called My Friendship Values.
Nice.
And I have done workshops in like all middle schools and high schools and everything. And that is really, when we talk about what I call the 7 values of a healthy friendship, the last one is authenticity. But while we talk about authenticity, I talk about knowing your friend's heart. And it's and everything you said is word for word, and that's just so important when it comes down to it. That's the core.
In your brain.
That's the core. That's the core.
For sure.
It's very important. So this is like a really like fun little extension of this. What is every girl's idea of girl code is different. And girl code is really the thing that will mess up friendships. Like it really will, and that sucks. But like in all spaces of life, whether it's like girl code with jobs, girl code with men, like, or girl code with partners, like whatever it is. Like, what is your girl code?
I don't have any. I mean, like, just know as I go. There's nothing like specific I can say.
Oh, I know some. I got a few. First of all, don't talk to any of the men that I talk to. Okay, just off limits. But I think for me, it's more so whatever I tell you, that's between us.
Yeah.
I don't need the gossiping, the whole I told you something and it got around and everything. I know 3-4 people know only. What is she doing?
Telling my other sisters.
You
I'm gonna tell my other sisters.
Okay, okay. So this is my question. This is my question though, because and you guys have a
your
unique.
sisters don't count.
So you guys have, but my question though, because this is the same thing with friend groups as well that aren't sisters, and it is trickier because you guys are sisters. But like, if you have a group of friends and you're all pretty much best friends, right? Isn't the expectation kind of that like each person in the circle is probably gonna know everything at some, because you all tell each other everything, right? Is that only fair?
You might
Crystal's
want to tell some people
like
something.
I get it.
But might not want to. I mean, like, you could have a group of 4 5 people, you know, we're all friends, but we just know like out the 5, it's like that one you just don't want to know
That's
something.
fair.
Right. We don't hold it against them, but we just know where it's gonna go if you tell that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I tell you, I don't.
That's fair. That's
know,
fair.
you know?
Okay, so
You need to
do you
be
think it's
specific,
fair?
then.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair that to say, okay, this is between the two of us?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then that becomes the code because it's been spoken.
If I don't hear it, I'm gonna say it's my other sisters. You didn't say I couldn't tell.
I love it. I love it.
No, I get it.
She and Crystal's the one that I don't tell. Like, you know,
Bree.
you know, yeah, we do have
Morgan
one.
just
Yeah,
said to me.
we do have one. That's
But
like,
I mean,
yo, you know,
but I
you tell.
see where it comes from because you're also close. So if this is the other person I tell everything to, of course I'm gonna say
Right.
something.
Of course I would say something.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest trust exercise of my life. I have a best friend, and my boyfriend went to go work, you know, with her. They were in the same office, so for like a whole year,
Wow.
they were in like close, like working quarters. And it's not that like the trust was there, but it was like anything that I told, you know, him, like. I just had to trust that if it was about her, right? Like, you wouldn't say anything. And I talked to her all the time about like our kind of challenges or whatever, or, you know, highlights or whatever. And I had to just trust that she wasn't going to say anything.
right.
Right? Yeah.
That's nice.
That's a tricky one. That's a tricky
that
one.
is tricky. See, but I'm like
I don't know
girl
if
code,
my
but
dude
like
can work.
my
You right,
sister.
with your best friend.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's like tricky. But I'm like girl code, but like my mom and my sister are going to know. Like I tell them like everything. So, but this is like I have a hot take. Is anybody down for a hot take?
I'm down for a hot take.
Okay.
I'm with it.
I don't care if one of my friends were to talk to a guy that I used to talk to. I actually don't care.
So we
But-
addressed this on the last episode, but go ahead.
If only if he didn't like do me dirty.
Okay.
So like if we just like fizzled out, if like it just wasn't right for us, like just because he wasn't right for me doesn't mean he can't be right for you. If I don't have any
word for word, we just talked about this on our last episode.
really,
Yes.
So like if I don't have any issue with him, like if we just like ended because we weren't for each other, like go ahead. Like I'm a very everybody eats type person.
Okay.
But I like if he like cheated on me or like was rude, like obviously I don't think as your friend I don't think you should do that because he's terrible. But but like I don't really care about that.
I feel what you're saying about that. I think that I would probably just look at my homegirl a little different. Like, you really wanted to be with the dude I was with? I think that, I mean, I'll let them, y'all do y'all thing. I wouldn't hold it against them, but I think it'll be something in the back of my head that I'd be like,
So, okay,
No.
so I have to give context because we did just talk about this in the last episode, if you guys were watching. Now, there's kind
watch
of
it.
levels. I know, right? I think there's levels to somebody I talk to, right? If I have been physical with that person, then that person becomes off limits. You know, even, I would say even if we've kissed, that person becomes off limits.
Oh.
But there was a situation, and I talked about it before, where I had gone on a date with a guy years ago. We completely lost touch. We went on one date.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know that I can even
Yeah.
really consider.
yeah, that don't count.
Okay. Like,
Even if it was like, you got my number, we talked for a couple weeks. Yeah, you can have it. I don't-
right.
It's not a body, you know?
Right,
So-
exactly.
See, but mine
Okay.
is like I
So
don't
you're
care.
saying if you actually dated the person?
Yeah, if
okay,
I
that's
dated-
another level. Yes.
if I dated, talked to them, was physical with them, like I like because it's gonna be some other girl, and you know what? I might end up being her friend because I'll make friends with anybody. So like I'm like, so that doesn't bother me. If I know he's not like a bad dude, like and we just didn't work out, like go ahead.
You don't
Has
want
it
to block her
happened to you?
blessings.
You know what? I have been on the we don't have to get into that.
She said, she said, okay, which side of it were you on is the question, right?
I not that I've really been on the opposite side, but like I've
You dated your
Kolbi-Rae.
homegirl.
What is
boy
going
before?
on? Girl code. I don't know.
not as deep, not like that deep. Like it was like a very light vibe, but even just me, like I don't care.
Okay.
Crystal is really looking at
Making
me
sure
like,
you're a good friend, though.
oh yeah,
Okay.
no, it's not like that.
Okay.
I love it. Crystal's the good friend police right now.
She
We're just
is.
making
She
sure.
is.
We're just making sure.
No. I don't think I would ever like date if my friend wasn't like that. If she was like no, I don't want you talking to, dating, whatever, anybody that I ever talked to, blah, blah, blah. I would respect that.
Okay.
Oh, you have to seek permission.
Yeah.
That's the condition. You have to seek permission.
Like, tell
if
me.
you're gonna
Like,
do
don't
it.
hide it.
Exactly.
Don't hide it.
Yeah.
But, like, I wouldn't do that if that was her vibe.
Yeah.
But if she was like, I don't care.
What you do?
Then no.
I'm not going for none of that. I ain't asking for permission. No, off limits. Don't want it. I'm gonna go find me another fish. It's all right.
That's fair. Okay. Are we good to because since we're talking about fish, since we're talking about men, can we transition the topic?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about romance.
I love how I make the face.
Okay. I mean, I just have a question. Does anyone have a list of what they're looking for in a partner? Or have you had a list? If you're in a relationship, have you ever kept a list in your life?
I once sat down in a coffee shop and like wrote down like the dream, you know? Like it wasn't necessarily like a list of expectations, but more like I really hope A, B, C, D, you know? Like just like
I've done the same.
yeah, like manifesting it into existence, right? Not being like, well, if you're not this, then it's but like I just am going to try to attract all of these kind
Same.
of yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was helpful to you?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Really?
I do.
You wow.
What you're dating now?
Yeah.
So is there like anything on the list in your guy?
It was like B-list.
Well, that's
Wow.
Go, girl. She got the list.
Manifestation at its finest.
I know, that's where I'm convinced.
Oh, well,
I mean, y'all heard about like the Sierra prayer. So what's your?
Oh, yeah.
She has a list and
Yes.
got off her list. So maybe you could let us know.
I mean, because essentially it is kind of like a prayer in a way, right? You're just writing it down, but they say that when you see something written down, you know, you're taking it down another level.
Yeah.
More than you ever wrote a list?
Yeah, it's in the trash.
Oh, it's getting kind of hard to check.
The older I get, I'm just like, you know what? Let's just freestyle. You know,
freestyle.
God, you know what I wrote down. You know, God,
Not freestyle. Ooh, Lord.
Just get me close. That's what I just
I
kind of
know.
something off the list. Something.
It can get discouraging though if you write the list and everything you encounter
See,
is just not
And that's why I have never wrote a list.
okay.
Because I, like, I just expect, this is really terrible, but I just, like, expect men to be disappointing most of the time.
No.
I have so many guy friends, and this is why.
I think I'm with her though.
Honestly, I was there. I'm no longer
Okay.
there. I'm in a relationship now,
Nice.
so
Me
he
too.
kind of showed me that there was something else.
I know I don't sound like
But-
Guys do really kind of like. I mean, even if you find that one, it just overall with the guys thing,
Yeah.
they are disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
Sorry,
no,
guys.
they are. Like,
I love how okay, Crystal's very hopeful. So let's hear you out.
I don't know. I don't have a negative perspective on them. I'm hopeful. I think what you think you attract.
So let me ask you this
and
though.
that's great. I also agree to that.
Okay.
And that's why I didn't make a list. But I always have expectations.
Okay.
So there's always an expectation, but I think it would be hard, me being the person that I am, if I wrote a list out and then I started dating somebody and off of like, because I usually just operate on vibes. So I would start dating somebody on vibes and then I would look at that list and be like, oh, they don't have this and this. And like, I would think about it. And then it would take away from me choosing to love everything about that person. So that's why I haven't personally wrote a list. Like I'm very much like I'm accepting somebody like face value as long as they meet some of these expectations that I feel are necessary.
Right.
I am fine.
So I mean, it's a list, but it's more like a top 3. That, you know, like must have these things, right?
Yeah, and they're really just
They're
it's
non-negotiables.
it's more, and it's honestly not even like tailored to men. Actually, like I am very much like, you need to have these specific human traits that I think every human
What is
should
it?
like.
Nah, for
you-
real,
like
dog.
What are
right. So like I think that
Yeah.
you need to. It is very important to respect me, and I need to respect you. We need to have mutual respect because if you just see me as your girlfriend, then you're gonna have expectations of me being the perfect girlfriend and doing this, that, and the third. And I'm not doing that. I am a person before I'm your girlfriend. So you need to respect me as a person. Like that's that's one for sure. 2 is like you need to make me feel safe. And that's with anybody. Like friendship.
Is that physically and emotionally?
Yes, but mostly emotionally, because I think that's where I'm a little, just personally, more guarded, is emotionally. But just like like my friends used to literally be like, Kolbi-Rae, I don't even know if you like me. Like, because that's just how I am. So, but like I have friends now that I'm older, I feel safe with them to be emotional. Yeah.
Nice.
So like my partner, whoever it is, needs to make me feel safe. So that's like emotionally, physically. Like these are just things that I think as human people in any relationship, but like this man needs to make me feel this way. So like those are like the two that I think the most. And you need to be able to communicate because oh Lord.
Back to communication.
Yeah. Communication is so important.
Friendship, relationship,
Anything, any relationship, you need to communicate. Communication should be in everybody's top 3. But those are like just things that, because there's men that don't do some of those things. They just
Well, communication in general, I think, is a little more challenging for men.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. You know, some of that is just society and whatnot, how they're
So
brought
like
up.
that, I think respect is sometimes really hard for men. Because I've had men be like, oh,
she's like, forget communication, respect.
respect. No, you need to respect me.
I think their idea of respect is not our idea of respect.
Well, talk about it. Elaborate.
That's a big God, I didn't put my hands on you, but you called me out my name. So both of them were disrespect. Just because you didn't put your hands on me, you still like emotionally, abusive and all the above. So I think that they're like, man, my mom I seen this and I seen that in life. I'm not disrespecting you. Well, for me, that's still disrespect.
Right.
Yeah. So I just think that there's like, two different. But I think the thing I've struggled with the most is like hitting a certain status in life. And then I know what I bring to the table and I know my value. So I'm just stuck out here like any day if anybody wants to show me they can bring something
Finding
else,
someone on your level.
Finding someone on my level, that's like been the hardest thing for me. And then being in the celebrity, whatever world, it's almost like guys are intimidated, one. And then they're like, oh, you are at this status, so you must want another celebrity, or you must need to do some good money. Like, who said I needed that? Who said I wanted that?
Oh my gosh, they do that?
They just throw that
and
on
like
you.
take themselves out before they even shoot
I'm
their
just
shot.
a regular guy with 9 to 5. Well, my baby daddy is too. I like those. So what are you saying? But he's already just out of his head like, oh, you're here, so I can't even step to you.
Right.
But come on, like, this is what I bring to the table. Can you bring some? I'm not asking you to bring all, but what can you bring to the table? 9 times out of 10, I think for me, like, guys look at me as a come up. And I don't really, and a come up is just like, oh, you got your own house. There's a lot of women that go, okay, oh, Mac, you making good money. Oh, you got 1 million followers on Instagram. If I could just date you, I could get some followers. Like, really, this is for followers? Like, I've been there before. Like, you really just wanted to be seen in front of these people. You really didn't have the attention of like really like being with me long. You just was like, well, if I get around her, I can get around that person, and then I can become famous. It doesn't work like that. But it's challenging here and there. But like she said, guys are.
Also, Morgan, I think you should make more effort to find these men in other places.
My sister tell me that all the time.
Go out instead of just sitting at home.
I
waiting for a guy to come in the house one day.
I stay to myself a lot.
Every day.
That's worked for me for a long time. I've gotten out. We travel and do things like that. I just think
barely.
So where do you normally meet?
Instagram.
Okay.
So I tell my sister this. So
yeah.
She gonna be so mad I said that. You don't have to edit it out.
Get outside. But I don't want like a long I don't want anybody else in another state or anything like that. Like my soulmate.
What did
she say? Instagram.
Like, where am I meeting these guys?
Yeah, but you said you don't want anybody in another state though.
I don't want to have a relationship in another, like, he's over there and I'm over here.
Yeah.
For me, like, I need somebody every day. I want someone to come home to. So I don't want to have to. I'm not moving out of California. This is the dream. And then the other guys in the other state, like, come over. I'm not leaving my lifestyle. And then bringing you into my world, and that's a lot of pressure. Because if it don't work, then what? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pressure. So I like to. She's like, get out and go expand.
I was gonna say it's gonna be hard though if you're limiting yourself to LA. It's gonna be a little hard, especially.
It's been hard.
LA is a bubble, in a lot of ways. And and if you're looking for somebody who at the core is a good person, is gonna respect you for you, LA might be a hard place to find that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, I've dated I just know that like the
Yeah.
long distance is hard. It's hard.
Well, if he loves you enough, he'll move here.
No, for sure. I had a couple guys that be like, I'll be there. And then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know if I like you enough for you.
I don't know about you.
I don't know about you all the time. All right.
Well, well, it seems like your sister has some advice for you, so maybe you should listen. You listen to. Sure, Crystal.
I know, Crystal. I gotta get out the house. I will. I'll get out more. Take me with you. Where are you meeting these friends, Crystal?
Right, Crystal.
Taken.
Okay.
Taken.
Well, more generally speaking, where would you recommend that she meet people?
I don't know. I'm not good at dating.
I'm dead.
I just got lucky.
I just got lucky.
Honestly, I think if you ask like a lot of people, they're like, I just got lucky. Because that's how I feel. I'm like, I just got lucky. Because I was thinking about where I was, and I'm like, I just got lucky. Like, so, and I lived in New York. Well, I still live there, but like, and I'm just like, oh, I just got lucky because it's really just chance. Like,
I mean, I was on an app, so I don't know how lucky you could say that was, but
oh, that's very lucky. That's lucky.
yeah.
Did you ever have to do distance?
Yeah, we're doing it right now, actually.
Oh,
So it was short, like 9 months. So
short. That's 9 months is short. You said,
well, I know people who've gone distance for like 4 years, and I'm like, I could not.
girl, I'm on
That's
3 months,
way too
and
long.
I think I'm gonna keel over.
It's
like,
hard. It's so
know.
hard. He was just saying today, he's like, I hate FaceTime. Like, it's just not the same. Like, it's not. And I'm so grateful for FaceTime and that you don't have to like write letters to, from afar. But it's just, I mean, like, it's a huge trust thing, right? And I think the key for us is like, we're both really independent. You know, we're both like really just into like the grind right now. But it's just, it's tough. I mean, like you said, like someone has to pick up and move, you know, coming up here. So it's like, all right, you know, who's gonna make the sacrifices and do the things? But it's just, I mean, like, in the end, it's gonna be worth it, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
he says, it's a cute little slogan. He's like, Kyra, if you can't do the distance, you can't go the distance. Okay?
I like that.
And that's I feel like that's a test to like modern dating. Distance is a lot easier for people now. Like, I feel like a lot more people do distance, or just even if it's short term or long term distance, they like do it now because there's FaceTime and like there's a lot of things that you can like Netflix party and like do all that fun stuff. So I get that. But like, do you guys feel like you are more of a modern dater or like a traditional dater? Like, some people are like, I will only date to marry, or like just even like how men operate now. It's like, it's the timeline for relationships is a lot slower now. Like, is that you, or you're like, no, it needs to be boom bam? You have like year criteria and like, I need to be engaged by after this many years of dating, and like, or we need to have these affairs in order, and like we need to have a house, or like, you know, stuff like that. Like, what are you guys' like opinions on that? Because that's like that's a big transition as a woman. Because it's like, okay, I have a boyfriend, cute, whatever, but like you could do like whatever, not that you could do whatever you want, like in that sense, but you can like still work and you can live somewhere else and all this stuff. And then like when it becomes serious is when you really become like serious, like engagement and like marriage is like when it becomes like your time.
All right, Morgan, I think you have thoughts.
No, I grew up in the household with both my parents,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw the traditional way. And even when things were bad, they still loved each other. And even when all their kids was going crazy, that brought them a little closer. Mm-hmm. So I would say I'm more of a traditional, like, I won't date a guy just because he has something or he's cute today and I don't see anything down the long run. Like, it'll take me a good from hours to a couple of days to know, like, this is not going to work for me. And then I won't pursue it. It could be something that's like, this is cool for me for right now, but girl, I'm not even going to go there. I don't even want to waste my time. Like, there has to be certain things that I see in this guy for me to be like, okay, I'll give it a little more time. But I've seen my father provide. I've seen my father, the way he loved my mom. I've seen the type, he's really like an old school, like man. Like, I have a real dad. And these guys nowadays, it's almost like they're sassy to me. You know, it's like they want us to call them first. They want us to open their doors. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Guys are like, we're the prize. I feel like in this generation, they feel like they're the prize. What happened to us women being the prize?
Right. My mom always told me
the
that
prize.
I'm the prize.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I see
say
it
it
equally.
louder for me,
Are
Crystal.
you saying you're both the prize?
We're both the prize.
Aw.
Yeah.
Morgan.
She got lucky. That's all I was saying.
You
She
are
got
so
lucky. Yeah. She got lucky. I'm pretty sure her guy told her that he was the prize. That's why she said that. He seems like one of those guys. Her guy probably gets his nails and feet done.
That's okay.
See, I knew it. He thinks he's a prize. I knew it.
I'm thinking you're the prize.
Yeah, we'll leave it at.
That, I mean, I
You're
guess
so
that's
cute.
also a modern way of looking at it too. We're
That's
both
very
fine.
that's the modern way.
And that's,
Modern.
that's okay.
That's modern.
I
For
think
sure.
I'd actually think his nails and feet then.
Right
Well,
now,
okay, but
I
here's the
mean,
thing,
if I have
though.
to look at your feet, I would love it if they were done.
No, I don't have a problem with that. But I think what Morgan was getting at is that what happened to the days where men approached women. Like my mom always told me, you know, man approaches you, but your job is to be approachable. You know, like is that even a
Ooh.
thing anymore?
Question. I feel like safety has become a part of that too. You know what I'm saying? Where I kind of got taught that, right? Like be approachable, but also be on guard. Like watch your back. Like careful. You know. And like how do you navigate that, right? If that's like the
Yeah, because men will, you don't know, like, they could do some really weird, they get weird. I will say
They're
that.
good at what they do. As far as
they
their,
get
their
really weird.
trickiness that they get.
Yes.
They get tricky. They'll look like everything their first day, week, then all of a sudden that mask will fall off. Like, where did you come from?
Right.
true.
Or first, like, me, even if you're just out, like, at the club, and, like,
yeah.
some people meet their significant others in the club, like,
Yeah, I can't.
and,
Yeah.
she said,
I
yeah,
just
no.
can't. I
But some people do, and it's like, but girls get approached at the club all the time, or just out, or like even at a bar, at a restaurant, you know, whatever. And it's like, does this person give me like, you have to be on guard. You're like, are these weird vibes? Are they good vibes? Like, it's really
Is
scary.
he a psycho?
and what,
Right? Like,
and
are you psycho? Like,
yeah, what a powerful thing too as a woman to like have that intuition. Like I feel like that's something to be said, right? Like we know, we can feel it,
Yeah.
and that's so special.
a
Like
woman's intuition is. My
In all
boyfriend's like,
areas.
you're a witch. He's like, you really have superpowers. Because I'll be like,
Yeah, so
I know.
don't try it.
Right. That's exactly, and that's what I say. I'm like, so don't try anything.
All right, ladies, we've talked about it all. We've talked about dating and love. We've talked about friendships and our identity as a woman. Are there any last minute tips or insight advice that you want to give to our viewers? Anything about becoming a woman?
I can say, I'll piggyback off her. It changes your stages in life of becoming a woman, and even when you feel like you're a woman, that even still changes. I just want people to, or women to know, like, just stay true to who you are. Know who you are and stay true to who you are. Don't let a man come in and try to change you. Know your value, know your worth. And then from there, like, just let God kind of guide you through life. You know, you might not believe in God, or if you do, I think the most powerful thing you can do is just have, you know, God on your side, pray about it, and just let it go. Just let life do its thing. But at the end of the day, just stay true to you. Because once you try to kind of switch things up, oh, he likes this, you're going to lose yourself. And next thing you know, you'll be making a man happy, then you'll be miserable every day. And that's definitely what you don't want. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. But when you stay true to who you are and you know who you are, I mean, you're going to be the most powerful woman. That's that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Stay true to you because God made you a certain way. Your parents raised you a certain way. Stay true to that, and life will be good.
Well, and you exude that, so I just want to bow
Thank
down to
Thank
you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I have fun
Thank
today.
you for coming.
All right.
Any final thoughts, Kyra, Crystal?
gosh, I think, yeah, it's just, I mean, even this room, right? I mean, it's like, just, I think there's so much power in community and, like, being with other women who intend to build you up, right? Like, it feels good to, like, build other people up, especially, you know, when you can relate like other women can with each other. And I think that's so powerful and special. Yeah.
Thank you. Crystal.
No.
She's already looking at somebody else.
I love being a woman. I love being a black woman, and I'm empowered by that.
Nice.
I love it.
I love it.
No.
Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I'm Maury kind of said it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it is, because I was going to say, when I was trying to, as a woman, try to be prepared, 10 toes, is to stay true to who you are. Be you. You need to be you before you are you plus anybody or anything else. So that's really all that's
Never let a man change you.
nobody. A man, your anybody. Be yourself. Your man, your family, your friends, like, know who you are, and all the people that love you will love you for that.
But actually, that's the key of knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Because when you don't know who you are and you get around someone, they can easily persuade you and change you. And next thing you know, like, this is who I am. No, but you didn't know who you were before.
Right.
So once you know who you are and you walk in that, own it. Just doesn't matter. A guy could come along and like, yeah, I like you, but change it. You gonna
Change
love me
what?
for who I am. That's inside and out. Or I can go ahead and find someone that will. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of women do get lost in that, I believe. And then the newer generation, I don't think they really know who they are yet.
Right.
So they're just picking off of this guy likes this and this one likes that, and I'm throwing it together.
And that becomes their identity.
Spend time with yourself to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, spend time with yourself. Go, I like doing this. I like doing that. Go spend time with yourself. You'll get to know who you are.
Yeah.
This group is just so in tune, because you stole the words right out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I was going to say, is get to know yourself.
Get to know yourself.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you for tuning in. This is Life Lessons, once again, on NCRF TV. If there is anything you want us to talk about, make sure you leave a message in the comments below. We can explore your topics, and anything else you want to leave the viewers with, Kolbi-Rae?
I'm with Crystal. No.
That was good one.
So once again, I'm Melanie Eke.
I'm Kolbi-Rae Edney.
And you're watching your new favorite show, Life Lessons on NCRF TV. See you next time.
All right.